When I was in high school, I never considered myself a feminist, but I always fought for leadership positions and to be equal in sense of athletics and other things like that where it's normally male dominated. But I never considered myself a feminist until I got to college and I took Intro to Women's Studies with Sharon Sullivan, and she has been a major influence in my life since then.
Since it is International Women's Day, I'm going to choose an international woman. My mother-in-law, actually.
Women, the most effective woman in my life is my mom.
I'm talking about my grandmother. Her name was Angelina Silvestri.
My two RAs in the LLC have impacted me this whole year so far. My first one is Jordan McDowell, which she's the RA for the basement in the LLC. And my other woman of choice that has helped me so much this year is Erin Finley, my fourth floor RA right now.
Okay, I will tell you my math teacher in my middle school.
This semester I'm teaching women in World War II. That led me to Simone Weil.
Quijada de Córdoba. She was remarkable, and she was gutsy for many, many different reasons, but by the time she was about 20, she figured out that she was not going to live a country life, that the world for her was going to be bigger. And that was kind of in the 1940s in rural Venezuela. That was a rather gutsy decision to take. She moved to the city, and for 10 years, she lived primarily with her sister, but she worked.
Before that things happen, I thought my mom maybe is a later woman that will rely to my dad, because sometimes when we need to make a big decision, it's always my father made it. But until that things, I find my mother is the strongest person in my family.
A woman who is still alive. She's a member of the Académie Française. She survived life in Auschwitz as a teenager, but it just made her a stronger person. She went on, she's the woman in I think it was 74 who got abortion passed in France.
I only ever knew her as an old lady. I wish I had known her as a young woman. She was so dignified and so proper and so quiet that when she had these glimpses of humor, it was a very wry and almost naughty sense of humor. And I think to have gotten to know her as a younger woman, I think that would be kind of fun.
When I was in middle school, I think math was so difficult for me because I at that time I just thought I was not smart enough to learn math.
And when I first got here, I was really scared and alone. And that very first night we had to stay here, I was outside, technically crying, yes. Came along, I didn't know she was my RA at the time. And she's checked on me and said, if you ever need anything, just give me a call. And
Second grade, I had a new math teacher, and she's a woman. Yeah, and I like her class so much. And I think she's a woman that she cares about your feelings, because sometimes when I was not confident, she will tell me I can do it.
My mom became the support of our family. She became very stronger, and she didn't say we need to give. She didn't tell them to give up. She just pulled us together, my brother and me. That she said we can pass through this difficult time. Then we really passed it.
She was the catalyst. She was sort of the glue that held this massive family together.
ever since then, she's always been helping me out with everything I ever needed, and I can text her for any questions I have at the school. And she actually got me to focus my attention more on human services.
She did help me start getting involved with the YWCA and their League Without Violence, which has became one of my main causes, is helping to end domestic violence. And I would never have gotten involved with that if it hadn't been for Sharon's influence.
Parents and the teachers, they don't encourage children a lot. They always tell you should study harder, you should do more things, and they don't tell you that you can do that. So I think she is the first teacher that told me that you can do this, you can do that.
Anyway, I love my grandmother because she taught me how to cook. My grandma was the mother of 10 children. My dad was the youngest of those 10 children, and so I had aunts and uncles and cousins coming over to our house all the time to visit grandma. And she would make food for them, as she always had her whole life. And so she made pasta fresh from scratch.
She did not know how to read and write. To the day she died, she didn't know how to read and write. But she was determined that all 5 of those boys were going to have college educations. And she also made sure that they were men who were worthwhile. They all learned how to cook, they all learned how to clean, they all learned how to do laundry, they all learned how to grocery shop, so that when at some point in time that they became some woman's husband, that they would be worthy husbands.
So I think her encouragement just inspired me and made me more confident.
She inspires me by all that she has done specifically. It shows me that anyone can work their way up. Like her work with human trafficking and speaking at the UN about it was fantastic when I learned about that, because it's such a big thing and she's a part of it, and it made me realize that I can help and hopefully follow in her footsteps in some way.
I think my grandmother, the bit about her character is her perseverance and her selfless dedication and service. She was involved in a whole bunch of different organizations, and she tirelessly gave of her time to the church and to the Sons of Italy and to our family, getting up at 5 in the morning to get the sauce started, or to bake hundreds of Christmas cookies, or whatever it was that she was doing. Just the fact that she used up her life for other people.
Her exploring never stopped. When, after Nelson and I got married, she visited the United States 3 times. And you think about, this very brave but very rural woman who had no expectations placed upon her other than being somebody else's wife, and to really just serve, no more than serve.
She inspired me that I need to become an independent woman, and I need to become adaptive and changeable, because I need to have adaptive capacity.
The independency from both of them. They work so hard at their homework and helping others, and I see part of who I want to be in them.
Aspire to be like her, honestly.
I just see how hard they work as RAs, and I want to be that dedicated to my work and being able to help everyone that I see in the hallways.
She's still doing all sorts of things about helping proving the righteous people who helped save Jews during World War II. She's still going strong.
My mind has been open to all the issues that women face worldwide.
My Wonder Woman.
I never give up and never lose heart.
Lose faith?
Lose faith, yeah.
So then I say over and over again, you are not defined by your ability to read or write. Intellect and excellence have nothing to do with literacy. Some of the smartest people around you have no college education, have no high school education. And I think, for International Women's Day, it's understanding that sort of intellectual excellence that pushes the world forward. And she certainly